What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another War Within video. I actually got into the alpha and it actually happened last night. So I have been looking at these new talent trees and I'm going to do a whole bunch of videos for you guys talking about them, going over them. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I want to start with Ele Shaman, and we just got introduced to the Stormbringer build yesterday on the alpha for the War Within. So I'm going to look at actually both of these builds from an Ele Shaman's perspective. Going into the War Within, what do both of these hero talent trees give you? Because these are the two trees that you get if you're going to play Ele Shaman. You either get Stormbringer or you get Farseer. So I want to show you the differences between the two, the advantages, disadvantages, and give you like an overview of what each of them is capable of doing, okay? We don't really have any numbers. There's a bunch of stuff that's not implemented yet. This is all sort of just like big bird's eye view, looking down. What does this hero talent tree do for us? Not like how good are the numbers. We don't know any of that yet. You know, that's going to be further down the line. So just be aware of that. Let's start with Farseer. If you don't know what Farseer does, this is essentially, for Ele Shaman, this is the fire build that we're playing right now in Dragonflight, brought into the new expansion, okay, in a lot of ways. So it focuses very much on Lava Burst. You get a third charge of Lava Burst with Elemental Reverb. Your Lava Bursts have a chance to summon an Ancestor, and it is all about these Ancestors. Every time you use an ability, you're going to call an Ancestor to your side, and they're going to cast similar spells to you. Now, they do actually cast either Lava Burst, Chain Lightning, and then when they expire, they cast Ele Blast. That's because of Final Calling. A couple things to note about the Ancestors. The Lava Bursts that they cast do not give you Maelstrom. They do not interact with your Lava Burst procs. Like, they don't give you cooldown reduction on Primordial Wave, for example, from rolling Magma. It is just simply you cast a single target spell, they're casting Lava Burst. This might change in the future, I don't know, but as of right now, the synergies aren't really there, okay? When you cast an AoE spell, like if you cast Earthquake, they'll cast Chain Lightning. Now, that one was, I believe, it might have been Generating Mail, so let's just check. I'm going to cast Primordial. There's my Ancestor. Here's my single target spell. They cast Lava Burst. Here's my AoE spell. They cast Chain Lightning, okay? I don't believe that they generate Maelstrom. When they die, they cast Elemental Blast. That Elemental Blast does give you a buff. So that is the one cool thing about Final Calling. You are going to get the Elemental Blast buff from the Farseers, which is super cool. But as of right now, the synergies aren't really there beyond the damage that they deal, which is great. And it is a lot of damage over time. It's going to be really good. So now, again, what I'm trying to focus on in this video is the build that you can run when you're playing Farseer. Can you do a lightning build? Not really, because it's focused a lot on Lava Burst, and it really just it is all about Lava Burst. This talent in particular, giving us a third charge of Lava Burst, is massive because it means you don't ever have to cast like a filler spell. And even the talent tree that I have here, you could realistically get rid of these two talents and probably go and do something like this. Now, I know lots of you guys don't like Ice Fury. I understand that. Instead, you can just do this. You can take Stormkeeper and then just hold on to Stormkeeper for when you get a proc on your Ascendants. Now, here's what it kind of looks like. Again, this is the current fire build right now. You drop your fire Ele. You're going to do Liquid Magma Totem. We're going to put Primordial Wave over there. I have an Ancestor that's out right now. I'm going to use Ancestral Swiftness to get a second Ancestor. And now they're both out here. They're casting Lava Burst. I'm casting Lava. There's a proc on Ascendants. You know how this build works, guys, right? I cast my Earthquake. It gives me this back. My Primordial Wave is already back. Boom, we go again, okay? We go again. There's just meatballs everywhere. That's how this build works, okay? Every time you press a spender, you're going to get another charge of your Lava Burst back. And because we have 3 charges of Lava Burst, I'm telling you, you really never have to stop casting these fire spells. You just go from spender. There you go. Another proc. You go from spender into Lava Burst. And then from Lava Burst into a spender. Just back and forth. You never stop doing that. Our fire elemental is back already. That's also part of the tree. We get fire elemental cooldown reduction, which is really good. And then I got my Ancestor back. I can do Ancestral Swiftness. Get that back. I am going to unload my Stormkeeper there. I should have held it for Lava Beam, but you know how it is. This is how the build works, guys. It's not... There's nothing unfamiliar about this. That is how it goes. You just get these Ancestors now that are going to help you out and are going to also cast Lava Burst when you do. So it's going to be quite quite a big amount of damage there. Okay, that's how it kind of works. When your ancestor is called, they reduce the cooldown of your fire Ellie, so that is you get it in increased cooldown reduction on your Ellie, which you're always getting from Surge of Power anyway. So I still don't think you want to take Aftershock with this build. I think Surge is still fine to get the cooldown reduction. You're going to have massive CDR on your fire elemental. Now his uptime is going to be really, really high, which means your flame shock damage and your flame shock duration is going to be a lot higher as well. So this build is very straightforward, I would say, for Ele Shaman. If you like the fire build as it exists right now in Dragonflight, this is the tree for you. And I really do hope that they introduce some synergies here. I really hope that they do that, because right now, not having like the lava burst procs interact with your primordial wave cooldown, you know, to get it down even faster, like that would be the biggest synergy that you could introduce for sure. When they cast Elemental Blast with their final calling, it doesn't give you a wind speaker proc. So there are problems that I hope they address those. Otherwise it's kind of like, this might as well it's just really boring, right? You just have these ancestors, they're just casting spells. It doesn't even mean anything. They might as well not be casting Lava Burst unless the Lava Burst is actually going to do something. That's my main point. I think Mastery is still going to be a really big deal with this build. You want to be overloading your Lava Burst so that you can cool down your Primordial Wave, because again, the engine of this entire build is Primordial Wave based. The amount of haste you're going to get is going to be really, really good as well with your Splintered Elements, of course. And yeah, it's very simple. It's very simple, guys. I wish that Ancestral Swiftness was different. I really do wish. I think they missed a huge opportunity here. This should be tied to Ascendance. It should be that whenever you proc Ascendance or whenever you cast Ascendance, you summon another ancestor and you refresh the duration of all active ancestors. I think that would be so cool, because then it ties in with the deeply rooted part of this build, which you're going to be running anyway. So the fact they tied this to ancestor, nature swiftness and turned it into ancestor, it's just kind of weird. But anyway, that's the fire build. Now let's look at Stormbringer. Stormbringer really is going to change your talent tree a lot. You are not going to be taking any of the fire-based stuff. No magma chamber, no wind speakers, no primordial wave at all. You're going to go into echo chamber down to mountains will fall, in my opinion. I mean, this is just my very first look at it. I'm not sure if this is right, but I think that you're going to be going this direction. You're going to take storm elemental. You're going to take lightning rod. The lightning rod talent in this tree is not working right now. If you don't know what's going on with Stormbringer, I'll explain it really quickly here. Number one, you get Tempest. So after spending a whole bunch of Maelstrom, your next lightning bolt becomes Tempest. Now, that's very important to understand. It doesn't replace lightning bolt. It just becomes Tempest, which means it has no synergy right now with anything that interacts with lightning bolt, including your storm elemental cast time acceleration, making it go faster. So that is unfortunate because, again, just like with the fire build I was talking about, the synergies don't seem to be there. So I'm kind of hoping that they do. Like, you can't reduce the cast time of Tempest at all, which is a real bummer. So I do hope they fix that. But the bottom line is, you spend a bunch of Maelstrom and you get Tempest, okay? Then you also can get Tempest for free every single time you cast Chain Lightning or Lightning Bolt. So the whole point of this tree is that you're just casting nature spells over and over and over again, okay? You never cast a fire spell, and you're basically never need to. I did take Ele Blast, and I avoided Echoes of the Great Sundering because I hate Echoes of the Great Sundering, and I hope you do too. It's just such a dumb talent, so I'm kind of avoiding it, but this is the talent tree that I kind of cooked up. You do get Stormkeeper every 50 seconds, which was an old tier set bonus. They're just baking that in. Very, very cool. This is a big talent here. Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning overloads have a 50% chance to overload again, okay? This has huge synergy with, of course, Echo Chamber, making your overloads do more damage, which is great. And then on single target, with Surge of Power, you can make your Lightning Bolt overload twice, which means it's going to overload twice. Both those overloads have a chance of overloading again. So this is truly like the Darth Vader, man, you know, you're just sending out lightning, you're just scorching everything, and you're never casting a fire spell once, which is fine. The amount of damage that you're also going to get on Chain Lightning is pretty crazy. Look at this talent. Arc Discharge, 75% more damage after you cast Tempest, and then 15% more damage, so 90% more damage on your chain lightnings, like whenever you get this arc discharge going, that is really crazy. Okay, that's a lot of extra damage. You can also get more damage from Master the Elements, so 110% more damage, right? It's pretty crazy how much damage. And then the overloads are going to do more. So really, really good chain lightning damage. Again, more reason to keep casting chain lightning. This build to me is very simple. More simple, I would say, even than the Lava Burst build I just showed you, but it's a little bit strange in terms of its synergies. Once again, like Storm Elemental feels out of place now because you're getting a haste buff here with unlimited power, which is really, really cool. Spending Maelstrom gives you 3% haste, and that doesn't, it's not per Maelstrom spent, it's just spending any Maelstrom at all gives you 3% haste, which is great. But like, then Storm Elemental is also giving you haste, which is cool. But like just standing still casting chain lightning over and over and over again isn't like a great buff to get from Storm Alley, so it's a little bit weird. Here's how this works. Okay, we'll do I don't know, we'll do Stormkeeper just for now. We're gonna do this. I'm not even gonna use Flame Shock. Okay, there's our lightning rod going. That's our natural lightning rod. Here's our Storm Alley. I'm gonna actually click his buff down here. Okay, he's going crazy, we're going crazy. Okay, now we have Tempest. Here we go. There's my Tempest cast. And then my next 3 chain lightnings are instant cast, so I can move while casting. And they do 75% more damage. Okay, and then we got another Tempest for free because we're getting a bunch of our free procs from our mastery. There we go. 3 more chain lightnings, instant and free. So you can start to see, there we go. I got another Tempest proc. Okay, I'm gonna get 3 more chain lightnings that are instant and free and do a lot of damage. You can start to see sort of the synergy right there between those 2 things. I got another Tempest proc. That's very abnormal. That's too many. I don't think I usually get that many, but whatever. It is what it is. So then we get our 3. A lot of mobility. You're getting a lot of mobility actually, just straight up from that interaction right there. Whenever you cast Tempest, you get those next 3. Here's another Tempest proc. There we go. So it is good to see how many Tempest procs you get. If you were wondering about that, you do get a lot of Tempest procs, okay? I'm not even really using a lot of Maelstrom. You're supposed to get it based on how much Maelstrom you spend. But the more chain lightnings you cast, the higher chance you have of getting a free proc on Tempest, okay? I'm going to just keep casting chain lightning, see when we get it. That's about 6, 7. There's about 8 chain lightnings. After 8 chain lightnings, I got a Tempest. Let's try it again. Well, I'll do, okay, 1, 2, 3. I'm not even going to cast a spinner. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's see if we get an awakened proc here. 10. There's 11. So we're getting, I guess, a little unlucky here. This is where you get some of the RNG. If I was using my spenders, of course, this would look a little bit different. But there we go. We finally got a Tempest. That's about 15 that I cast. That was very unlucky. So you can see there's a bit of variation here. But you are just casting a ton of chain lightning into your earthquakes, okay? For AoE, or of course if you're on single target, then you're going to be casting into something like an Ele Blast. I think Ele Blast is pretty good here. Here we go. We got another Tempest proc there. Let's just go right into an Ele Blast, into our triple chain lightning. I'm going to hold it into an Ele Blast, into triple chain lightning. There we go. You could experiment with things like Aftershock, right? This build is all about spending Maelstrom to proc Tempest, so you could go Aftershock to have a chance of just casting your spells again to spend even more Maelstrom, right? That could be because it refunds the Maelstrom. But I do think the single target buff with Surge of Power is also very, very strong. What am I stuck on here? Holy moly. So that's kind of how that works. But over the course of testing after a little while, I have found that Tempest will proc, I would say, over the course of a minute, it's probably like at least 6 times. 5 to 6 times at least, and you could get really lucky and get even more Tempest procs. And then again, that's going to fuel right into the arc discharge, which makes your chain lightnings do way more damage, makes them instant. They generate Maelstrom. So it does work. You can see the lightning build here working. Unfortunately, this lightning rod thing isn't implemented, and then I don't know what the damage numbers actually look like. This is what we're going to have to wait and see. So once this lightning rod talent works, which again, this is very strong, it doesn't just give you lightning rod like it does for enhance. This instead says lightning rod targets now take 20% of the damage that Tempest deals, and then Tempest will apply an additional lightning rod. So you can get a lot of lightning rods going if you're going earthquake, 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 and then Tempest. They're all going to put lightning rods out there, and then all those enemies are going to take damage from your chain lightning. So again, more incentive for you to just be casting chain lightning over and over and over again, and to basically never ever press a fire spell. I think in a single target situation, it's going to be a little bit different because you're going to want to be casting lava burst to get your next lightning spell to do more damage. So there'll be a little bit more synergy there. But the bottom line for here is that it feels fine. I think it's actually fairly fluid, even though Tempest has a 2-second permanent cast time and cannot be reduced for some stupid reason. Even though that's the case, it still feels good to play. I don't know how the numbers are. Like, this is what we're going to have to wait and see. I can't get an add-on working that's going to show me the numbers, so there's no way of kind of testing this. But this is going to be your lightning build, and then Farseer is going to be your fire build, okay? That's really the bottom line here, once again. And I think that there is good enough synergies here. They need to work on it a little bit, but I can see what they're going for here. You generate tons of Maelstrom with this lightning build, and you can just feed it into Earthquake, and then that will get you to your next Tempest, and your next Tempest will do tons of damage, and then your next Tempest will give you 3 more Chain Lightnings that are going to do tons of damage. So, like, the synergy's there. The fluid gameplay is there. I get it. I get what they're going for. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to be on single target. If you take Storm Swell, you get 30 more Maelstrom back whenever you only strike 1 target with Tempest, so that's cool. Here's a couple problems I have with this tree. The synergies are rough right now with Tempest itself. Again, the cast time isn't going down. I think Storm Elemental Steam seems really out of place now to me, because yes, casting lightning bolts and chain lightnings really, really quickly over and over and over again is fine, kind of. It can help you to proc Awaken Storms, right? Because every time you press chain lightning, you have a chance to proc this thing. So that's kind of cool. But I don't know. I just wish Storm Ellie did something different on its own. I wish that, like, me reducing the cooldown of Storm Elemental felt good, because I was like, oh my god, I get to press Storm Elemental. He's gonna come out and he's just gonna wreck this stuff. Like, I think that they should have made it so that whenever you cast Storm Ellie, you also immediately cast a Tempest or something like that, and then you could get the instant proc on Arc Discharge. Like, why is that not in here? Why is that talent not a part of this tree? I don't understand that at all. I don't mind reducing the cooldown of Storm Ellie a little bit more, but again, it just, because you're reducing it, of course, with down here with Flash of Lightning. But again, I just wish they had made it a more impactful button, and this was really their chance to do it, and I hope they think about this. So I think they should just add in something for Storm Elemental that makes me want to take this talent, because right now there's really no reason to take it. Getting a stacking speed buff is cool, but you need to be pressing other buttons at the you can't just stand there and press chain lightning 25 times in a row. You can't do that. That's just such a waste of your Maelstrom. You're going to be capped on Maelstrom the whole time. So I just don't like that. I wish that there was a immediate Tempest payoff when you press Storm Ellie. Something like that would be more impactful to me. That's another problem. Then there's this choice node. This is the last problem I want to highlight. If you're in Mythic Plus, you have to take Arc Discharge for the extra chain lightnings doing extra damage. That means on tyrannical weeks, this is literally a useless talent when you're fighting a boss on tyrannical week for a very, very, very long time. If you're fighting a single target boss, Arc Discharge literally does nothing. If you're in a raid scenario that has ads, let's say you're fighting a raid boss that has a whole bunch of ads, taking Arc Discharge would be good, potentially, maybe, but then, like, if you're running Storm Swell in a Mythic Plus for Tyrannical, let's say, then you don't get the value out of the Arc Discharge. So I think the biggest problem here is that on Tyrannical weeks, when you're fighting a single target boss, Arc Discharge does literally nothing. So that's a little bit sad, right? Because it's a completely dead talent in that scenario. And I know that that's like a niche scenario, but like some of these dungeons are going to have 4 or 5 bosses, right? And on Tyrannical week, you're going to spend 4 minutes on each boss. So hear me out here. That's 4, 8, 12, 16 to 20 minutes of the dungeon. This talent will be useless for you. That seems like a problem to me. So I hope they kind of work on that in some way. I don't know, fix it a little bit so that I don't feel so useless on tyrannical weeks taking this talent. Otherwise, it's a great talent in AoE situations, a banger talent. It's really good. I just think there's one little problem there. So that's it, guys, for me right now. I do think you can legitimately do this build in the War Within. You can run a talent tree that looks something like this. You can focus on overloads. You can get a lot of mastery so that you're overloading more, so that you're feeding into supercharge, giving you extra overloads. Like, there's a lot of good things going on with this tree, and I do think that there will be a full-blown lightning build for Ele Shaman and a full-blown fire build for Ele Shaman. I think you can go with either one, okay? So don't worry about having to choose in the War Within. You can do both. It just depends what you want to do. Whatever content you're approaching, maybe you need more like mass AoE. I think Tempest build is better for more like mass AoE with like earthquakes and huge chain lightnings that are overloading on everything. For a bit more of a funnel play style, I think you're looking at Farseer, where you can choose one target and then you have all your flame shocks out. They're feeding you lava bursts. You're putting those lava bursts into one target, and then you're getting Ascendance procs as well. So I think they're both good, but they both have play styles that are going to be helpful. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What do you think about Elemental Shaman and the two builds that you're going to have to choose? Are you excited about them? Are you not? I would really love to hear from you in the comments down below. I'm going to keep covering the War Within now that I have Alpha, so stay tuned for more videos, okay? Thank you so much again for watching. Love you guys. I will see you in the next one.